Hi everyone, welcome back to the MedSpeed Podcast. My name is Christian Foster. I am a fourth-year medical student at the University of the West Indies Mona campus in Jamaica. And in this podcast, I interview persons in the healthcare field, specifically in the Caribbean, to share their experiences, advice, and overall perspective of the healthcare field. In today's episode 6, I will be interviewing Ms. Rebecca Chung, a first-year medical student at the UWI Mona campus, to see what the current preclinical medical students are up to these days. Welcome to the podcast, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Rebecca, before we get into the questions, just introduce yourself. Say a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Chung. I am a first-year medical student at UWI Mona. I used to attend Campion. I like to sing, I like to dance, I like to do the gym. I try to be a well-rounded student. I'm involved in my class exec board, so I'm always talking and advocating for students. And so far, it's my passion. I'm surviving so far.
Very good. That's very good. Hope we keep that up for the.
I hope so.
Alright, so to kick things off, I want to acknowledge that you did not have a very traditional route to pursuing med school.
Not at all.
So just explain your method of applying to med school and what made you choose this route as opposed to the traditional route.
So how I applied to med school, honestly, I think is like divine intervention. So I applied for Doctor of Pharmacy first, and I applied for MBBS. So I got into Doctor of Pharmacy, and back in the day, people used to switch from Doctor of Pharmacy to MBBS.
I didn't know you could do that.
There's a couple people who've done it, and I've spoken to them, and in my mind, I think it was better because I get a better feel of what MedSci is. That's the original plan, right? So I come into medical school, I'm like, it's Doctor of Pharmacy. I get my rejection from MBBS. I'm like, okay, you know what? We move.
Yeah.
Let's just fix the thing. So I call around, I talk to different people in faculty, then I hear they stop changing. Stop switching from Doctor of Pharmacy to MBBS. I'm like, boy, what am I going to do? That was like one of the most devastating things I've ever experienced in my life. So, by God, actually, we have this great department called the Personal Development Officers up there.
Yeah.
One of the officers actually saw me, and she knew me from orientation. She thought I was distressed, and I was like, well, I explained to her I didn't get into med, I can't switch from PharmD. What am I supposed to do? So she introduces me to Dr. Gossa Williams, and she runs a gap year program called a pre-med gap year program. So I talked to Dr. Gossa Williams. She's like, you are perfect for it. Your grades are really good. You get to dip your foot into research. You get to do all sorts of things while able to audit the first year classes. You're able to even to talk to different lecturers because of how open I am. And you know me very well. I talk to everybody. It's not like... So from that, I was able to speak to different lecturers from then, and now they see me here, and I have good relationships with them. So doing my pre-med, I was able to go to the hospital and do research with surgical residents. So last year, I was on a research project with a surgical resident. She was looking up Whipple's resections and research on that.
Really good.
So I was able to go to pathology. I was able to pull records, read records, put in data. And now I'm supposed to be on a research paper.
So you got a little bit of clinical experience even well before you enter the space.
Because of working at being in pathology, a lot of times doctors come in and they come there for results.
Yeah.
And me being me, I always used to chat them up. So actually, because of talking to them a lot, some of them invited me to come and shadow them in the summer. And I shadowed in the summer with internal med. So a lot of my opportunities is mostly just me talking. And people are like, all right, I like her vibe.
Well, people's moms don't get fed. So,
exactly. So that was how I got into med.
Wow, that's really good. I mean, for me, I also didn't have a traditional route in that I went to SciTech first. But most people do that route if they don't get in one time. So I didn't know you could have done something actually in MedSci. Because from what we were told is, even though the BB MedSci program, they do similar courses to us, we were told that you can't transfer the credits and you can't do that. So
with pre-med, right? We still registered through SciTech, but we spend most of our time up here.
Okay, right? I didn't know that.
So I got to do all my foundation courses one time. So
that's
now,
very good. So you knocked them out and
so all my friends who are suffering with print and law and golf, I'm at home and I'm like, boy.
I was so happy I did those two because it was a recommendation from I think someone, but the upperclassmen, they were like, you should just try and get that out of the way before you try to get into MedSci, so that when you're in med school, it's just med courses.
Because a lot of for us, they recommend you doing crit this semester, but we have 8 courses.
That's
and I see that, and I'm like, That makes no sense, but okay, let's move. I'm not the boss.
Yeah, that's nice to hear that you have different options to get in. All right, so second question. I didn't have a preclinical experience because of COVID, unfortunately. Yeah. So just share with us what a typical day in your life entails in first year now that everybody's back in person.
Okay, so let me do a typical day. Right now it's kind of hazy, but a typical day, you come to school at 8 o'clock. Most people are here by 8, especially if it's before mid-semesters. You kind of fight a little bit for seats. My class likes to go to class, which I am very proud to say.
That's good.
They don't complain that our attendance is bad. So you come to class, you sit down from like 8 to 12. You get little 10 minutes breaks, and most times during the 10-minute breaks, you're talking to your friends, you're running joke. Sometimes we're playing like games in class. Like, you know, it's kind of fun. And then lunch, then you have anatomy labs. Anatomy labs is a serious thing.
That's every day?
Most days. Right now. Yeah, so last year, we almost had an anatomy lab almost every day.
Yeah, that's true, because you do locomotor.
And now we're doing recipe anatomy and cardio anatomy now.
Yeah.
So when you go to the anatomy lab, and you will not understand this, but you will, I'm going to explain it to you. Right? And people are going to look at me. Right? So, when you go to the anatomy lab, you have different tutors. You have Dr. Thomas, Dr. Prof. Lubitin, Dr. Barnett, Dr. Shetty, right? You pick who you think you mesh with the best. I am very close with Prof. Lubitin because he knew me from my PharmD days, knew me from pre-med days, so like we have a little relationship. So you come to anatomy lab, you are going to fight for the front seat. You are not seeing anything in the back. So in my class, people leave class 5 minutes before you come to anatomy. People are taking out hairbrush, water bottle, towel to mark their seats.
Wow, that's
crazy. And if you don't come on, you get knocked.
So because everybody wants to be like front and center.
Because how are you supposed to learn the body if you're not near it? Because as much as they have like the camera action, and that's great because sometimes things are small. You have to be with the cadaver. You have to be, because that's how you learn anatomy. You have to. For me, I went to the labs all the time. So where I sit in anatomy, I'm in the splash zone. That's what we call it. So the body's like here and I'm here. So Prof. Lubitin will be moving out like sometimes a little formaldehyde sprays on you and you're like, well, you wipe it off and then you go back again. So that's like, and then you build a lot of relationship with your class because everyone who was in my anatomy group, at least in the front row, I know all their names, we're all friends. And it got into a point where we all know each other's seats, so we wouldn't steal each other's seats. So sometimes we have little invaders from different groups because sometimes we have surgical residents who teach us and they don't come because life is lifing. Right? So they'll try to take a seat. Everyone just looks at them and like, you don't sit here. So you have Auntie Sylvia in the corner, then it's me, my friend Amelia, and Ricardo sits behind me, and you have everyone just making a circle. And then you build a relationship with your tutor. So Prof. Lubitin loved run joke with us, and we tried to con him out of letting us early, but he always makes sure he finishes on time.
Yeah, that's one thing I remember about him. Yeah, his classes were really good. Even though I didn't get that actual in-person experience, I remember his tutorials or like the lab, those were really good. So even if I didn't get the actual cadaver experience, I feel like they taught so well that I still was able to grasp a lot.
They put a lot of effort into the PowerPoint, and they also use the text, the last anatomy. So here in
the Bible.
The Bible.
Yeah, the Bible.
I don't know what I'm gonna do when I do a Prophet slides no more, but we move. But that's what anatomy is like, and honestly, all the tutors are really good. Dr. Thomas is like amazing, but he doesn't. If you're on a audio-visual learner, he doesn't have a PowerPoint. He just sits, points, and talks, and you just have to absorb. Well, Prof. Lu, because he has a little accent, he puts everything on the slide. He'll get the little subtitles, but it still works because he says extra stuff too, and he cares. And he will actually stay back with us
and help you.
Like, I think we had Prof. Lu in the lab once until like 6 p.m.
Wow, that's really good.
And then for finals, he knows me well, so he heard me and he came into the lab. I was like, Prof, I can't find it. He's like, it's right there.
And he would come and help you out?
Yeah, he helped me out for a nice little 20 minutes, and he's like, I gotta go now.
That's good. So what do you do after school? Like, what does your
my friend group or what we do? So my life after school, normally run joke with my friends because two of my friends drive, so normally they'll drive us to where we need to go. Run little joke. Normally blasting music in the car. So I don't know if you drive past, if you hear Chancellor, you hear like white girl music. That's us, like singing "Party in the USA" right on top of our lungs. And then I'll go to the library and I study until I go home. Some days, like right now, we have my year group is fun. We have like a inter year group football match. So like after school, like 4 to 6, we'd be practicing and stuff like that.
So that kind of ties in with the next question. I wanted to say, like, what are some of your favorite things to do outside of Med? Like,
outside of Med. Well, I like to sing. I sing a lot. I sing when I'm stressed. I sing all the time. So I sing with my church, which is fun.
Oh, that's good.
I like running up and down. So this little football thing was really great for me. Even though I can't play, but they taught me a little thing, so I'm gonna try a little bit on the field.
What about gym? How often do you go to the gym?
Boy, right now I'm looking rough, but like I try to go at least twice a week. Right now I gotta figure it out because since it's carnival season, you know that gym.
Everybody wants to full up now. Yeah.
So right now I'm just doing a little running up and down. But as soon as carnival season's over, I shall be going back to my heavy circles.
Alright, that's good. That's good. I mean, you're staying pretty balanced, and it's not
to.
just academics. That's really good.
Yeah, my friends, we have this thing where we have to gallivant one day out of the month.
That's really good.
Yeah, I'll tell you straight up. First semester, peer book, just book. Now we could gallivant once a month.
Yeah.
So we go to karaoke. We're going to go to the carnival. I love soca. All that stuff.
You can't go crazy in this program, especially not so early, because you have to really pace yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't want to burn out so early.
That's the thing. I try to work with the balance more now. Last semester, if you're talking to me, boy, it's dark.
That's good though. That's really good. So just back on the topic of actual academics, what are some of the study methods that you use currently? I don't know if you're using anything different from when we were in first year, but what do you do to study?
So okay, for me, I like to read books. I like textbooks. That's me. I like read. I'm a reader.
Okay.
Right, but when time is getting rough, Medicos is perfectionalis.
He
gets my money, right?
Yeah, that's a plug.
I read books. I watch a lot of videos. I am an Anki girl.
Yes.
This one put me onto Anki. So I have my Anki. So like right now on my phone, I use Anki Study Web. So like I had a mid semester, I think probably Thursdays. That's why I still got bags under my ass. But so I have it on my phone, and like if I'm not entertained about what's going on in life, I just do the Anki on my phone and stuff. A lot of my friends, we do questions, and how we do our questions a little different than I think most years. So like most people are just trying to find the answer. What we do, why is this the answer? What would make this the answer?
That's how
why
I
not
approach
the answer?
it. Yeah, why did I get that wrong? Why? And especially when you do like question banks, like they give you the explanation. A lot of people like don't really look through the explanations. They're just like, okay, I got it correct, let me go forward. But you have to look through why were the other things wrong, because it's important. So that's a very good way to
so
look
like
for questions.
yeah, my questions, like if you ever look at my question banks that I have on my iPad, you'll see me drawing. So like one question that we were doing was we're talking about different hormones that were used, growth factors in hemopoiesis, right? So they gave us this, they put VGE or whatever with stroma cell. That's not right. So I put stroma cell, then I list off what was right. Then I put pluripotent cells, and I list off what is right. And that's how I study for it.
Yeah, that's very good. It takes a lot of time, so I feel like a lot of people wouldn't do that, but that is a very effective way.
You have to start from early.
Yeah, you do.
And a lot of the time it doesn't allow us to do that because of how like high paced. I know for like clinical, y'all got no time.
Yeah. Trust me, no matter what, I feel like you can't really compare clinicals with pre-clin, because pre-clin or your entire day is spent in the
beer book.
Yeah, like so it's like we spend the entire day in the hospital, but at the same time our entire day is spent doing school. So it is tough. Regardless, it's tough. I think it's tough.
But that's what a lot of my friends do, and honestly, study calls are great, especially you're up 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It's lonely sometimes. I got my best friend, she's in dentistry, or my other best friend in MDBS, and she's just on the phone and I'm on the phone and we're just working. Yeah,
study groups is another method. I adopted it, I think, in second year, and it's been pretty good so
study
far.
Groups is hardish. Study groups are better with questions. I will never say review content.
Yeah, when you do like some practice questions,
that makes more sense. Because how I explain something is not how other people explain something, and I am a very layman's term type of med student. I would say, all right, this is like this, but it goes to boom. Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's the Feynman technique. Like if you can explain it to a toddler, that means you actually know it. So that's how we try to explain it to each other.
That's what we're trying to do. My friends, but questions mainly, or just discussion in the group chat about a question.
That's good. All right, so what have been some of your favorite courses of med school so far? I know you're only in first year.
Oh, so far?
Some of your favorite courses and your least favorite courses so far.
Let me start with least. I hated mole med.
Oh my god, yeah.
DNA was the worst thing I had in tape. I couldn't understand it for shit, right?
Yeah.
So when we got into, I go into first year, I'm like, bio. Nah, bro. pure DNA. And I just like, it was 2 credits. And this exam had my year group stressed. I remember it was our only exam in the evening. So we come to school, people studying from way. I'm not a person who studies the morning of. You should have seen me in my book. I use my pen. So we come to the exam. I see everybody. We open the paper. I hear 2 laugh. I said, Jesus God. So ego. And I see question 1. I see question 1 was the hardest question on the paper. I see everyone said question 1. Nah, question number 2. I see everybody shading question number 2. And at the back section, by then my brain dead. I'm pretty sure I got all the background, but we moved. That was my least favorite. My favorite so far though, and this is like a controversial take. I really liked FDT.
Oh, for real? Why?
Alright, so I love a clinical. I like clinical correlation. I like differential diagnosis. Everything else that I've done so far, I didn't have any of that. So even in locomotor, when they gave us the clinical questions, I was cooking. FDT is a lot of that. FDT is a lot, and I'll tell you straight up, I didn't study everything. I just had to pick and pray whatever I learned, because I found going to class for me. You remember 1-2 thing a professor would say, right? So FDT was a lot, and it's 6 credits.
Yeah, it's a big course.
But I really love the pathology. I loved path, and I loved microbe.
I'm on path now, and I would say that FDT and path are very similar. But the reason why I think path is a lot easier than FDT is because you need that foundation.
Yeah.
You really need to have covered FDT and just like the basic stuff, read your Robbins, do that stuff. But as you go through clinicals, you start to garner so much knowledge from the different specialties that because that's what pathology is about. Pathology is just like, why did everything go wrong in each system? And now it's just like I'm consolidating all of that from first year. So it's path, like, trust me, if you liked FDT, you're gonna love path. Like path is where it all comes together.
I loved path, and I loved microbe. Because me and my friend with microbe, honestly, I lost everything caused by strep.
Strep and stuff.
Strep and stuff is just problematic bacteria. So we like that. I had a problem with immunology because of just how it was taught. It was taught really rushed because how our like your first year schedule is, and I don't really like it about it. They like try to done off courses one time, and at the end it's FDT, but at the end everyone is burnt out or tired, whatever. I also like Neuro 1. Neuro 1 so far is really nice. I haven't had my mid semester for it, but Dr. Young Martin.
I remember. That Neuro 1 was one of my favorite courses in first year as well. But the semester you're in right now is a lot of different courses.
I have I do 8 I think right now. I'm doing Neuro 1, Hematology, Basic Heme, boy, HCC, boy, IOP, Recipe, which is our first system-based course, and so far it's just anatomy right now, and it's looking very rough. Because of just how it's placed and how it's being taught right now, which is at the end, and most people are tired. Then we have cardio anatomy we're doing now. Then we have health and environment. I feel like I'm missing something, but that's 7 so far. And I think
cell biology?
Oh, and cell bio too. That's 8.
Oh my goodness, I remember that semester. Like it's just from the beginning, it's just gas.
It's just gas, and how they set it up. Like the first 2 weeks, they filled us. Every day we finish at 12. I'm like, great. Week 3?
Whole day.
Every day. I haven't finished at 12 in a while.
You're gonna have to get used to it because especially the only other semester I think where you end at 12 is semester 1 of year 3 because it's summertime and it's doctors, they have work to do and stuff. So I think most days it goes from 8 to 12 and you might have a class in the afternoon. But for the most part you end early. It's only when clinicals start, that's it. Your time is not yours anymore. So just enjoy this, but definitely I agree with FDT. FDT was one of my favorites.
FDT was my favorite, and I got actually surprisingly based on my highest grade last year was anatomy, and that's because I put in the work. I never liked.
You were in the splash zone.
I was always in the splash. I was in the splash zone. I was in the lab all the time. I went to the lab once a week because how I did it was alright, Louboutin taught me this. I need to figure this out for myself. So I have my last, I have my netters, I have Louboutin PowerPoint, and I'm I'm probing, looking for things, right? So that's how I got A, because when I was doing it pre-med, anatomy was the worst. Pre-med, I couldn't get it. With anatomy, you have to be with the specimen. I honestly don't know how you guys did it without the
the thing is, I didn't sleep a lot in first year because I knew I had to compensate. I was just studying like crazy.
I think we're similar in that way.
I was just going crazy. And the thing is, because I knew from a long time I wanted to do surgery, I told myself that I was already disadvantaged because I wasn't in person. So I had to know my anatomy well. So I was drawing. When I went back home in December, I had this big big thick folder just
of the drawings,
and me continuously writing, and I did Anki every day. I really did put in the work, but I wish I got to actually dig my hands in the
You're gonna do it in surgery, bro. But like,
I mean, you kind of get it back in clinicals because at least now you're seeing it in a live person, so you get to see the anatomy up close.
Like you see the sartorius and all that stuff. Like, but for anatomy was really hard for me, and I made sure I was so familiar with anatomy to the part like I could tell the lab techs or the anatomy people which part I wanted, and they knew which one I wanted. I said I want this one. We don't have that one. I'm like, I don't want this one because I could see everything. But with FTC, so I was actually surprised in my highest grade after that.
Wow, that's good.
That's good. I get in decent grades.
Then just keep it up. Like if that's working for you from semester 1, it's gonna keep on working. You just have to keep that same momentum.
That's the thing. I try my best. I'm gonna more balanced because I really did try burn out myself.
Nah, you gotta pace yourself, definitely. Take it from me. You have to pace yourself.
And because of the specialty I want to do, I just kind of have to like. I gotta relax now because I know when I start, I'm gonna be so tired.
We'll get into that. The specialty. We'll get into that one. So before I get into that question, I want to ask you. So no more pre-clin stuff. What are you looking forward to most in clinicals? I know you're a few years away, but what are you looking forward to the most?
I just can't wait to interact with patients. I love people. Right? So like people for me, everyone got a different story. And because of my little experience with like getting to shadow and stuff, I love the old patients.
I love old people.
Grandma.
Yeah, I love old people.
Grandma will tell you all the stories. So I think I was with the doctor I was shadowing with. She had to write up her notes, but you know how grandmas think. Grandma always want to talk to the doctor. So I'm there, so I'm listening. Grandma tell me say because we were in renal clinic, right? So she had CKD at stage 4 the last time I saw her, right? So grandma tell me say she don't eat banana. Grandma tell me say she changed her diet. Grandma tell me say I just afraid that doctor in the girl. My blood pressure just go up. So she showed me the book with her sugar. She showed me the book with the blood pressure. And she all bring her like a medicine bag and she show me which pill she take which day. And this is she doing this to me and until the doctor writes up her notes. Right? And then grandma got good news. Grandma moved from stage 4 to about stage 3A, I think.
That's really good.
And so hopefully she's now at stage 2. I haven't seen her, but like I loved grandma. She was great.
Yeah, that's really good.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited it's really the people, to be honest, because I know based on like my friends telling me at clinical, it's really can make or break you. Because not every doctor and not every consultant will like you, and they will target you for like other things.
Yeah, I feel like when you reach your clinicals, you have to realize like it's not personal, because I feel like some consultants, I think 99% of consultants, if they are mean, I don't think they're doing it from a place of like actually like, I think some of them just, that is their method of trying to get you to understand the information. So when I just started, I remember like I had my first encounter with a mean consultant, and I went home and I was like, bro, what did I do wrong? And then I realized it was just like, that's just how they are. And I was just like, no, I'm just gonna go to school and continue trying. So I go every day, just cloak my patients, try my best. And you realize like they just want to teach you. It's just certain consultants have a different method of doing that. So
a lot of them, what I find, at least again, the 1 month that I was there, and I was watching because I was a 4th year student. So that was a lot of them want you to prove them wrong. Yeah,
that's another thing. That is true.
And not everyone can manage that type of approach. Because I was with this consultant. She was a very nice lady outside. Because she spoke to me. She said, "You sure you want to do it?" I said, "Yes." And I was talking to her, and she was nice. You know, she was like, "Why you don't know this? Write this on your paper. Read this." And she giving like good information. When I talk to students, they're like, "Yeah, she's one of the nicer ones. She wants us to pass." Some of them, they're just like, they want you to pass, but they just want you to prove them wrong. And I find that it's a little hard, especially as a girl. For me, I take a lot of stuff personal, so I gotta work on that before.
That's definitely something you should like. I don't think I've ever met a consultant that genuinely had a vendetta out for a student. Like they don't just actually hate students. That's not a thing. Like they just want you to know the stuff. Like it's just unfortunate that especially when you get to 4th year, a lot of the clerkships are very short. Like some of my clerkships are only 4 weeks. And if me expecting me to know all this information when you got 10 years to actually solidify it, you understand? But it's just like they just want you to be able to like solidify this so that you don't have to continuously be rereading it and rereading it.
Because they even, again, same thing, but I learned so much that 1 month. One of the girls went up to me, is like, it's better you say something than say I don't know.
Exactly.
Because
I definitely agree.
if you say something, they know you tried. If you say I don't know, to them that's giving up in a sense. And from then, even if they ask me questions in class, I just say something. I think it might be wrong, but I tried my best.
Yeah, there's this thing they say in clinicals, there's, especially for OSCEs, they say you have errors of commission and then you have errors of omission. So I think like some people have different views, but I say it's better to make an error of commission, like you commit to saying the foolishness, because you might hit one point and they'll be like, okay, I can work with that, let me drive this student down the right path. If you just don't say anything, you completely omit what the question is asking you. They cannot work with that. They can't. And trust me, when you're in an OSCE, let's say you have an OSCE that's 5 stations, which means technically you need 3 stations to pass. If you go into one of the stations and you just don't say anything, you fail. So you need to have done exceptionally well in the others. It's better to just say something, even if you fail a station anyway. At least they had something to work with, you know.
Yeah, that's even like for us. We had spotters. I mean, you actually never.
I never got to experience a spotter.
One of them was traumatizing because you're in a room. You have 100 questions. You go to like a station. It goes from A to P, not A to D, you know, A to P. You have to answer something because the spotter for us contributed 20% of her grade. Something had to be right. I'm not gonna leave out a question, because if you leave out a question, that can mess up your entire order of how everything is. You have to answer, and a lot of it you feel under pressure. But I actually did pretty well on my spotter. I passed.
You have to stay. You have to stay very calm, and I think spotters prepare you for OSCEs, because I think OSCEs. I didn't have an experience with a spotter, but I feel like an OSCE has to be like 10 times more nerve-wracking, because like it's, I don't know, maybe I'm being biased because I'm in clinicals, but I just feel like it's just like you have no choice, but because with a spotter it's like you multiple choice, right? But if I ask you have to talk, like you actually have to talk to the consultant who knows every single thing about what they're asking you. So it definitely is really good practice for it though.
Yeah, I think they put you at a disadvantage because you didn't have like the
spotter
in-person spotter. Because even with how the spotter works, you get to pick which section you start. I started with anatomy because I knew that I needed all my brain power for that.
Okay, because it's split up between what? Anatomy and what?
Anatomy and embryology. So when we have our spotter this semester, it's going to be between cardio and MedSpeed. Looking like I started with cardio right now. I don't know, because cardio is bigger. But so my friend started with embryo. And they tell me straight up, after embryo, they did terrible on the anatomy spotter because the embryo's last part of the embryo section was really hard. I knew I needed all my brain for anatomy because I had a better understanding of embryo and histo than anatomy.
Okay.
So I started anatomy, I leave that anatomy section, I'm like, I start embryo. Boy, the last section was rough, but I'm glad I started with locomotor because it was how I was able to condition myself to say, all right, it's getting harder, let me just finish strong, versus you start hard, your brain tired, and you reach to that and you can't touch it, you have to look, you gotta probe, you can't probe, you just have to hold the penis, whatever. These people colorblind, you know. They're telling me something green and that thing look yellow.
You have to. It is. I think it is really good preparation, but don't let anybody scare you. I think OSCEs are very manageable. I really like OSCEs. So if you somebody who thinks like spotters help you, more than likely OSCE will help you as well, because OSCE is like what 20-40% of your grade. So
around similar things.
So it definitely good preparation. But that's some good things to look forward to. So we're wrapping up now. So you mentioned it a little bit, but is there any specialty that you have in mind that you want to pursue?
I really want to do emergency medicine.
Wow, that was fast.
Like if you follow me on TikTok, guys, follow a girl in med school. You literally see.
I'll put it away.
Yeah, I literally see. I have like a star future ER doctor.
Oh, wow. So wait, why EMED?
EMED. I love fast aids. I'm a person. You know, like how people have to look at the little details and then see the big picture? I'm a big picture type of person. You come to me, and you know, you talk about your presenting complaint. You come to me about this, I'm going to fix that. As well as I also find patients are like plants. Let me explain. Patients are like plants, in that sense. You sow the seed, right? And that's EMED. You come in, you do an initial workup, right? Initial workup, you figure out what the problems are so far. But sometimes you have to call in medicine, you have to call in surgery, because I just can't fix it. That's where the growing stage starts. And medicine has to take care of them and get them up until they get to be discharged. I'm a person who lacks patience. Sometimes we just want,
sow the seed and...
Yeah, man, sow the seed and move on. And then I get to interact with more people and stuff like that. I just think... And actually, fun fact, I wanted to be a paramedic first before a doctor.
Oh, so that kind of just ties in there.
Yeah, so doing a paramedicine in Jamaica is really rough because of how our healthcare system is, I don't think I would feel comfortable working in a private ambulance company because some people just don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
And like public ambulance, that's always like busy.
Yeah.
So I thought of that as like, alright, EMED's the next best thing.
Yeah.
And also I want to do military medicine as well.
Okay. In Jamaica?
Ish. I haven't decided yet. So I do citizen. So
Okay.
I'd either go to the States or do it here. And I find with military medicine, it's very EMED-like.
Okay.
Very fast-paced, very stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I've never really heard a first year say that. Most first years say I want to do surgery. I want to do
Nah.
Grey's Anatomy. That type of
No,
fast-paced
I
thing.
think
But
with EMED, and it's like a niche thing as well. And I think you'll understand this. When you are a surgeon,
yeah.
and especially when you are a surgeon, and something happens, they were going to call you and say, "Yo, wherever you at, come."
You have to come. Yeah, that is true.
With EMED, you work on shifts. When I'm off work,
That's not
I'm
your
off
problem.
work. This is not my problem unless it's like a mass casualty.
Yeah.
And mass casualty, everybody on deck. So
Yeah, I feel like definitely, like if you have that mentality from now, your EMED experience in fourth year will be really good. Yeah, for me, I don't know. EMED was like iffy for me, but I definitely appreciated what I learned from it. But I like fast paced, but not that fast paced. Like that's way too fast for me. I feel like Gen Surg maybe because Gen Surg has that fast paced thing as well. So if you want fast paced, you can consider that too. Especially Gen Surg in Jamaica, like it's very fast paced.
I'm also a person, I'm a very jack of all trades. I'm not a person who's good at anything particularly. I work hard, so I'm decent at most things.
Okay.
With EMED, you gotta be decent with most things. You can't be just like, alright, I know everything about foot. I know everything about bone. You can't go EMED with that.
Yeah, that is true. You need to know a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and that's why my second option is internal med, because it's like
everything a little bit. Yeah, that is true.
But I gotta work on that patience thing.
Yeah, definitely. You get some good practice when you start third year, because you get IMP and then you just dip your toes and stuff. But yeah, definitely something to look forward to for fourth year.
I got a question for you now.
What?
What about EMED was stressful for you?
I think it was where I went. I was at Spanish Town. So yeah, Spanish Town is pretty fast paced. And there's a lot of requirements when you're on EMED. You have to get cases completed. You have a very hefty procedure sheet. So it was just constantly like, I have to study for this exam, and then I have a procedure sheet, and then I have to get cases done. You were just constantly like battling with like, what do I do? Do I study? Do I have a mental breakdown? Do I?
Yeah.
So, but for me, like when I reached the end, as much as I was very burnt out and dragging myself at the finish line, I was like, yo, actually, like I've learned a lot. Like I felt like I learned so much in 5 weeks. So that, but it just isn't for me because I don't know. Like I just,
With that, I'm a person, I have to be busy. When I'm like relaxed, I get really stressed.
Oh my god.
I have to constantly be working or constantly doing something. So that's why I think that's well over there.
I hope you don't lose that light in your eye. I feel like a lot of people, like they get to clinicals and it kind of drops down. For me, it was reaching that point and I was like, no, like I'm doing this for a reason. Like, it's very cliche, but they say, don't forget why you started. And I literally have to tell myself every day, like, why did you want to do med school? Like when you were 17, you were literally begging to be here. So why be ungrateful now,
Why do you want to do med school?
Why did I want to do med school?
Yeah, nobody ever asked you questions on this, so
I don't know. I feel like I always liked sciences and stuff, but then my mom always says like, there's so many ways you can serve people. And she always used to say that thing about like service.
My mom does too.
Yeah, so she was saying like, so my mom is a lawyer, so she said like her service is like, serving the people in terms of like, and my mom does a lot of like, she doesn't do a lot of criminal stuff. She does a lot of stuff where she helps the layperson.
Oh.
So she loves doing that, and like I kind of look at that. And then my older sister is a doctor as well. She definitely inspired me to come into it, and I feel like I can't see myself not doing this. Like I don't know, like I've gone so far, and I'm just like, nah, this is definitely what I want to do.
I come from a family of finance actually. So my parents do business. My sister's an accountant. My next sister is some big shot person at NCB. So when I told them I wanted to be a doctor, they looked at me and it was like, you have like a knack for numbers, because I actually did very well in Cape Math. I'm like, yeah, but I want to be a doctor because so my hand, I have actually a skin graft on my hand. When I was 1, I was in a car accident, so they had to take the skin from my thigh and then they put it on my hand. From then, I was always realized that doctors are always the persons that always go the extra step, and most doctors outside of medicine are like that too. They do the extra step for people, poor people, whatever. And because of that, I want to be the person doing the extra step. I want to be the person to help someone out like that. Because health is always something very touchy for people. If someone's sick, that's more of like an emergency versus like if someone is in like financial problems. Health is wealth. You know? Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. Yeah, but listen to what I say and don't lose that passion. Every time you feel like you want to give up, just tell yourself like there's a reason why I did this route and wanted to go. So yeah, thank you for that. Alright, so we're at the last question.
Okay.
So what's some advice? You're class of 2028, right?
Uh-huh.
It sounds crazy
Sounds
because I'm 2025. But yeah. So what is some advice that you have for the upcoming class of 2029, which is the students starting this year?
Okay.
Like what's some things you think can help them outside of getting in?
Outside of getting in? Yeah. Find everyone has like a group of friends, but find your person.
Okay.
Find your person who you can call at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, say, hey, I'm studying, you up. You know, that helps a lot. I think also for people who like struggle with anatomy, and I find a lot of people fear it.
Yeah, that is true.
My year group is very female, so we don't have much guys.
Yeah, medicine is becoming very like
woman dominated.
Yeah, like anytime I'm on a rotation, it's like 5 girls and me. Like it's always like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So and especially the ratio in my class is like 1 guy, 8 girls.
Whoa, that is crazy. And then your class size is like way smaller now.
It's like 130, I think, maybe 125.
My class was like 170 something, and then before med school, we see like 300 and people.
Yeah. So with that, find your person, and especially when you're like anatomy, a lot of people fear it. Go to the lab. I'm saying this. Go to the lab. Yeah. Get a book. Get an atlas. Go to the lab and figure it out. Because once you figure it out, you will remember it.
Yeah.
Also, just be nice to yourself. It's like hard. A lot of the time, you will compare yourself to your classmates, and I'm guilty of that as well. But
yeah, same. I do it all the time.
It's a medicine.
Why are these people so smart? Why can't I do that?
Right.
Why can't
but
I do
be
this?
kind to yourself because it's your own race.
Yeah, that is true.
And if you are drowning, there are resources here at MedSci, at least here at MBBS, you will know. There are resources for you if you feel like you are struggling. So if you don't know how to study, go to the book a PPDO session.
Yeah, and you have academic advisors too.
Yeah. Talk with your people, talk with your classmates. Don't suffer alone because it can get really lonely. Med school is lonely as much as you have friends.
Yeah.
So have your person, go to the lab, reach out for help if you need it.
Yeah, that's really solid advice. I feel like when I was in first year, I was just kind of toughing it out on my own. As much as you have friends in the program, especially because I wasn't in person, I was literally just toughing it out every single day just by myself. So
yeah, and it gets lonely. It really
gets
does.
Very lonely, yeah. So that's really good advice, Rebecca. Thank you so much for doing this episode with me. I hope the upcoming people listen to this and my classmates watch this.
You should, and subscribe. Follow him on all the podcast stuff. He actually posts amazing episodes. And this guy is one of my inspirations for med. I met him in pre-med, and from now we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be colleagues.
Of course. And I will call you with all the nice things from the email. I'll just say, hey Christian, I got something for you.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, well,